Hey everybody, it's me, Marie. Finally got the chance to sit down and do this Q&A video that had taken me so long to get to, but finally here and ready to answer some of your questions. So before I go ahead and do that, I wanted to say thank you so much for submitting all your really fun and interesting questions to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. I had a lot of fun reading through these and compiling my nice list. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. First question, Leanne is asking me, how are you today? I'm doing great, thank you very much. I am sitting here in my living room. It's a pretty cloudy, overcast, rainy day here in Portland, but that's pretty typical. So yeah, just here with my buddy, and I'm doing great, thank you. Angel is asking, how would you describe your music? What genre? Dream folk? Yeah, dream folk? I don't know. What do you guys think? I really have a tough time answering that because my music kind of just like does whatever it wants to, so I don't really know. Anubis is asking, what program do you use for audio editing? I do all of my recording, production, editing in Pro Tools. That's the program I started on. I learned Logic in college, but since I first started on Pro Tools, that has just always felt just like home to me. So yeah, I use Pro Tools. Sam I Am is asking, how tall are you? I am 5'1", 5'2". I am pretty short, and I've had people come up to me in person after a show saying like, this is the first time I've seen you live and you're so much shorter than I imagined. And I'm like, thanks, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I am like 5'1". What is your age? I am 25. I will be 26 on November 1st. Han is asking, in 10 years, where would you like to be professionally and personally? I guess I stopped asking myself this question because it just feels like there's a lot of pressure attached to it. But yeah, I just feel so happy with where I am right now. It's taken me a long time to be okay with where I am. And I'm so happy and fortunate and lucky and grateful that I'm able to make music and do it as my full-time career, that like I would be happy just continuing doing this, and anything else is extra. And of course I have, you know, wants and dreams, but I just feel like I'm just so happy right now, and I don't know where I'll be in 10 years, hopefully married with my love, and just making music and loving life. So that's that. Do you have any other projects you're working on besides music? I do a lot of crafting. I don't know if that's considered a project. I love baking and finding new recipes to make. I like embroidery and painting birdhouses. But I'm working on a new batch of hand-painted birdhouses that will be up on my website soon. But other than that, I don't really think I have projects outside of music that I'm working on at the moment. Vanessa is asking, did you finish college? Any advice for amateur musicians considering dropping out? I did not finish college. I did 3 years at NYU at the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. It was great, and I'm so glad that I was able to go, and it was a really good learning experience for me. I met a lot of wonderful people, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, but I think the 3 years that I was there was the perfect amount for me. I was fortunate enough to be already having a couple albums out on my own. I had been self-producing for a while. I had a pretty decent fan base, and I've been touring, performing. I had a manager. So at that point in my life, I felt like I had already kind of been in the door while I was in college. So the last year, I just felt like I got everything that I needed out of it. And in the music industry, as far as my experience goes, a music degree doesn't really do much for your career. I mean, of course, unless you're going into music teaching or stuff like that. But like if you are wanting to play a gig, people look at your like numbers versus a college degree. So in that way, it wasn't really very important for me to get a degree in music. But I think if you are a musician who is considering dropping out, I would definitely weigh the pros and cons. Like I said, for my particular situation, I'd already kind of reached a stable amount of success where I was making money with my music. And so there wasn't a lot of risk to it. I think if you still feel like you have things to learn, things to do and experiment and collaborate, then I'd say stay in for however long you need to. But for me, 3 years was good. And I think it depends person to person, whatever you feel good doing. Do you have a favorite fictional character? Probably Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, but I also love like all Disney princesses, but I think Kiki being my favorite movie, and I love her and her spirit, so yeah, I'd say Kiki. In your experience, what are the downsides of working as an artist? For me in particular, music work can be draining, and sometimes like I'll work for even a couple hours in a day and feel like really unable to do anything else, and I used to feel really guilty about it. People work 9 to 5 and they're working all the time. How come I can't do that? And I'm being lazy and these things. But I think it differs person to person, and I think especially people who are highly sensitive and who pour a lot of their emotion and thoughts into their work, it can be a bit draining, and you have to just respect that. And so know your process, know what works for you, and just don't feel guilty about it, because the best work doesn't come when you feel guilty or you feel tired or overworked or worried. It comes when you feel free and inspired and open. So it's a lesson I have been constantly having to learn over and over again. Mainly that is one of the main things, just as your own boss, how to motivate yourself, how to set up a day, how to do X, Y, and Z for your business, but also be very creative and prolific and try and make things that are true to you, but hopefully also resonate with other people. It's just, there's a lot going into it, but do what feels right to you and just forget all the other stuff. Has working as an artist turned out as you had imagined when you were young? When I was young, I thought that success would come more easily. I was on YouTube during a really great time. It was kind of when musicians were thriving and you could really easily find an audience and find your people and get support. So back then I was like, oh, this is like really awesome and easy. And then now it's really hard to kind of break through. So what I've had to learn is like, a lot of the success people get is due to luck and timing. And if you're good at what you do and you're honest, I think you'll find your people. It might take longer and it might not be as easy or as instantaneous, but I think at the end of the day, you'll feel really good that you stayed true to yourself and pushed through no matter what. So I feel like I have a way healthier outlook on that. I'm not really disappointed too much by numbers, and it's taken me a long time to get to this place, but yeah, I've had to really shift the way I viewed my goals and expectations about my career. Any new music in the works? Of course. I am usually almost always working on something. Right now I am working on a new EP. It's going to be a pretty mellow instrumental kind of EP. I want it to be something you can put on and do some yoga or meditate or just like be calm, because I feel like I gravitate towards a lot of music like that, and I also love making just pretty instrumental stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Emily is asking, what hair products do you use? I keep it pretty simple, and I've tried to make a shift to use a lot of non-toxic products for my hair and for my body. So I'll show you a little video of the products that I'm currently using right now. So these are the products I am using right now. I have this Tea Tree Tingle shampoo from Trader Joe's. It's like $4. What I'm doing now is doing the Curly Girl method, which I have not even heard about until a couple weeks ago, but I know that shampoo is off their approved list of shampoos, so I'm using that. This conditioner is just has a lot of natural ingredients. This one has a lot of natural essential oils and does not have any sulfates or unnatural fragrances. So that's what I use for conditioner. For styling, I am using this style gel. I like to go on EWG Skin Deep, their website. They have a lot of great information on products that are non-toxic. You can see what level they are on the toxicity level, and this one is pretty darn low. So I like using this for styling my curls. And then this one I just got my hair cut, and they used this to style my hair. It's definitely is probably a little bit more toxic than I would go for, but knowing that it's sulfate and paraben free is good, and I like that it's vegan. And I don't really indulge in hair products, but this one seemed to work really nicely, so I got it, and I'm looking forward to using it in my hair and seeing how it works. KBs is asking, what does a typical day look like? For me, every day is pretty random, but there are some things on my to-do list that are pretty consistent. Every morning I like to read and journal and meditate if I can, and then I'll do a workout, make a nice breakfast for myself, and do whatever kind of musical work I have to do for the day. Each day is just kind of like, it is pretty random, especially because sometimes I'll get emails and they'll want something by the end of the day or the end of the week, and I have to kind of make sure I have a flexible schedule to fit in those things. Curled Olive is asking, do you have a song that you've written that makes you emotional? Right now, the song that gets me is When You Come Home. It's a love song, and sometimes when I play that live and my love is in the room with me, I get a little emotional. So yeah, that's the song for me right now. Emmy Olio is asking, you write the most amazing vocal harmonies I've ever heard. Can you maybe talk a bit about that? Thank you so much. That's really sweet. I love writing harmonies. That's, I think, my favorite part of making music. I think a lot of it has stemmed from me being in choir. All throughout high school, I was an alto. I was really happy because I had these really cool, sometimes just dissonant moving parts, singing notes I normally wouldn't think to sing. So that really helped me learn about how to kind of shade a chord and add moving parts within a phrase and make it really fun and interesting. So I'm so happy I stuck with choir. I definitely learned a lot, and it's definitely influenced the way I create harmonies. Ket Kirk is asking, cats, dogs, or both? Dogs. I love dogs. I am so in love with Norwich Terriers. I know I will need to have one in my lifetime. I just feel such a strong connection to those little terriers. So that's my dream dog, and hopefully one day soon I will have one of my own. Han is asking, what would Mree now tell Mree then? There are parts of my life and my career where I felt so secure and strong in what I was doing, and other parts where I felt like really lost and confused and just really bad. But what matters is enjoying the process and sharing with people, and hopefully people will enjoy it, and if not, that is just out of my hands. So do what you do and be happy. Nate is asking, do you ever write songs that end up being really different from the type of music you normally release? For instance, have you ever written a punk song or a heavy metal song? I think when I'm creating, I generally stay in my Mree genre. That is usually all kind of on the softer side of things. But I have made fun little songs, really silly. I made a birthday song for my brother that's really wacky. Happy, happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And then I was recording at my old studio, and I was right outside of a bus stop. And one day there was this guy, he had a cardboard box and was playing drums on it. I was trying to record, and I was frustrated. So I'm I can't record professionally right now. So I'm gonna write a little song until he leaves. Thank you, bus, for picking up the bearded man sitting at the bus stop, drumming on a cardboard box. Thank you, bus, you really are a anyway, I think I tend to kind of stay in my comfort zone just because it's more fun for me. If I were trying to make those kinds of genres, it would not sound like that genre. It would eventually still sound like a Marie song, I think. SVT is asking, can you someday make a blog about how you made your music? I actually do a song production series on my Patreon where I take a song and I open up my Pro Tools session and kind of go through my production and arrangement choices for the song. Yeah, I do a walkthrough of those every other month on my Patreon if you're interested. So I answered more questions than I think I did. Thank you guys so much for your support. It really truly means so much to me. I really just feel like I've struck gold because I get to do what I love doing and I get to share my music with people who enjoy it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. You guys are the best. Lastly, like I mentioned earlier, I now have a Patreon page where I do more behind the scenes videos and I do monthly lullaby live streams and tea time hangouts. So if you're interested in getting a bit more of Marie time and behind the scenes fun, there is a link in the description. You can follow if you're interested. And yeah, thank you again, guys. I hope you stay tuned and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye.